Hey guys, it's Cooper Gretsch here from Kick It to Scoops. I am the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors and results. You want to be part of the show, Kick It to Scoops? Send through your questions through the Facebook link, which I'll attach every show on the post. And if you want to email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com, send through your questions and you may feature on the show and be answered your question from yours truly, Cooper Gretsch, for free. Yes, for free. If you want to be on the show, as I said, send it through and I'll get back to you. Go Saints. Too easy this is. Kick It to Scoops.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kick It to Scoops. I'm your host, Cooper Gretsch, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors, and results. We've got a big show for you guys today, so let's get stuck right into things. We've got the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. If a late addition to Scoops Goes Bang, because purely there's nothing really to bang on about, but I found something, and it may not be AFL-related. We're going to go through 5 2022 best 22s for Essendon, Geelong, Fremantle, Sydney, and the West Coast Eagles. I go through my draft talk, my re-updated top 23 rankings, not my top 21, which I had compiled about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I've been using throughout the last 3 episodes or so. I've got a re-updated top 23 draft rankings. And I'll have a special tribute to a certain boss at the end of the show. My final thoughts, but we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Now, merch. There is still merch. As of last night, the T-shirts and hoodies have finished. I told you, I warned you, November 7th was the date that the T-shirts would end, and they have ended, as have the hoodies. So if you've missed out, that's on you, not me. I gave plenty, and I mean plenty of warning. So there's still mugs. As of this recording, I think there may be 1 or 2 mugs left. So if you want a mug, get yours right now. There's stickers still on there. There's stubby holders. There's hats on there as well. So you can go and get yours today. And for people that ask, Cooper, I wanted a T-shirt. Cooper, I wanted a hoodie. Are they coming back? Well, they're not guaranteed to be back. And if they are, it will not be until, at best, after Christmas. So if you wanted it for Christmas, I gave plenty of warning. November 7th was the date. And some people delivered and some didn't. Some will be disappointed, but it is what it is. And that's, your loss, not mine. Now, let's move on to the world-famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, I said I might not be AFL-related here, and it's not. It's people know I like the wrestling and the WWE fan, but people want to compare the WWE to AEW, the other, or I like to call it Trash EW, or, something like that, Trash W. Trashagew and WWE. The comparisons, I'm sick of the people complaining, AEW is better, Tony Khan, their guy, compared to Vince, does what the fans want. The pettiness about the ratings. WWE always win the overall ratings, always. And AEW's wording is always like, we won in the key demo, the 18 to 49 demographic. Why does that matter? It only matters to you, AEW shills and executives. It only matters to you because it's the only demographic you win in. The overall number is more important than the key demographic. So to Tony Khan, to the shills, Chris Jericho, all those other idiots there, stop sulking. You're just jealous. You're losing to WWE. And they've got the best, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. And their women's division is way, way better than the women's division in AEW. The men's division in WWE is way better. Despite all the people they let go, it's still better in WWE. WWE forever. AEW, no. Left your game, trolls. Well, yeah, it's a very short edition of Scoops vs. Bangers. There wasn't really anything else to rant on about. Now, we'll move on to my 2022 best 22s for 5 clubs today. Essendon, Geelong, Fremantle, Sydney, and the West Coast Eagles. Now, leave your thoughts, guys, down below of my overall thoughts for your club's best 2022 best 22s for Essendon, Geelong, Fremantle, Sydney, and the West Coast Eagles. I'm sure fans of those 5 clubs have plenty to think about in my best 22s for your side, and fans of other clubs. Leave me your thoughts down below of your thoughts of my 2022 best 22s for those 5 clubs I just went through. Now, we'll move on to my draft talk, my re-updated top 23 draft ratings. Now, originally I've been doing a top 21. I added a few more names in and shifted the order dramatically from pick 5 onwards. I have kept the top 4 the same. You can see the list of the top 23 on your screens right now. But the top 4 still hasn't changed, as I said. Jason Horne-Francis, Nick Dacos, Finn Callaghan, and Ben Hobbs. But there's been a shift from 5 all the way down to the 21 range, but now I've added 22 and 23. So let's go through the list yet again. So the top 4, as I said, unchanged. Jason Horne-Francis at 1, Nick Dacos at 2, Finn Callaghan at 3, Ben Hobbs at 4. Pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Horne-Francis is the best in the draft, as is Dacos. Finn Callaghan's a close 3rd, and Ben Hobbs is probably the next best player in the midfield side of things in the draft from Victoria. Now, pick 5 onwards, as you can see on the screen, Josh Gibcus, who I had in the mid-teens when I drafted this about a month ago, doing some more research and hearing from some more recruiters and how they thought about him being the best intercept defender in the competition, can play a bit of key back. I thought, well, he's going to go in the top 10, and he could go as early as pick 5. I mean, I rated him pretty highly. I put him in after the midfield crop I've pretty much got in the first 4. He's the next best player in any other position. So I've got him at pick 5. Giant miss. Young key forward from WA, kicked over 50 goals in the Colts competition in the Waffle. I've got him there at pick 6. I mean, it could be a bit of a stretch. It won't go past pick 10 at the West Coast's pick. So it's going to go before 10 or at 10 at worst. So I think he could go at pick 6. With Fremantle. So yeah, Giant miss at pick 6. I will keep him there because I think he's the best young key forward in the draft. And any club that gets him, that will be wrapped to get Dry and miss. And he does not miss in front of goal, despite what his name is. Joshua Shelley, I got a pick 7, the young small forward from Victoria. Dangerous small forward. He's some multiple bags of goals in multiple games this year. What's more to say, he's the best young small forward in the comp. Play a bit of mid as well. We'll have to wait and see where he goes. His draft range could also be from around pick 5 to 4, maybe 12. 5 to 12 range for Joshua Shelley. So Essendon will hope he can slide all the way to their pick. That's a possibility, but I wouldn't say it's a good possibility of happening. But if Essendon have him and he's available, they will take him. Now, you can say, Cooper, you got Sam Darcy at 8. Yeah, I'm not a bigger rap on Sam Darcy as others are. I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but I just think that Sam Darcy is dropping amongst the ranks. I think Jai Miss is a tad better. I mean, Sam Darcy is going to be good. Jai Miss will be good. I rank Jai Miss, the younger key forward, ahead of young key forward Sam Darcy. But again, it's only a ranking. It's not where I think they'll go. It's just my pure draft ranking, top 23 draft rankings. Pick 9, I got the ruck forward, Mac Andrew. Slotted him down a little bit. I wanted to fit Gibkiss and Miss and Rochelle ahead. So therefore, him and Darcy slid down the order. At 10, one of the next mids is Josh Ward, the Josh draft, the J draft, whatever you want to call it. So I've got 3 Joshes in the top 10 and 5 guys with the name starting with J in the top 10, 5 in the top 10. The J draft, as I said in previous weeks, the Josh draft. Yeah, Josh Ward, a midfielder from Victoria. He's in the next crop of mids. At 11, I got Marcus Winghanger. He's a St Kilda NGA Academy midfielder. Very explosive player. He'd be one to watch of the future. The Saints would hope a bid does not come in the top 20 because then they won't be able to match under the new rules, which I don't like. But I rank him as the 11th best player in the comp. In this draft ranking. But yeah, to wait and see where he actually goes on draft night. But he's a great get for the Saints. As all the guy, I've got a number 12, Machito Owens, who is also a St Kilda NGA Academy player, midfielder forward. Got that versatility, which a lot of clubs want these days. I think Machito could be a good pickup for the Saints. Well, hope he does end up at the Saints. If a bid does not come in the top 20 like Marcus Winghanger, Machito Owens should be a Saint. But I've got him at 12, so if a bid was to come at 12, they can't match. So hopefully for Saints fans, Winghanger and Owens slide out of the top 20, then they'll be able to match them, and then they'll be Saints. At pick 13, I've got Matthew Johnson, WA mid. Been likened to a Scott Pendlebury type. Some good games this year. As a mid. Waffle games were obviously more frequent than VFL games. So he had more of a chance to prove himself. I played some Subiaco games for Subiaco in the Waffle, a few senior games I think I read not too long ago. So great experience for him, especially if he's going to start his career in the reserves. He's already got that step up on the other draftees from the Victorian states, at least, and the New South Wales states. I picked 14, rather, but Sam Butler, he's a forward mid, the brother of St. Dan Butler. He could be a mixture of the range from around the pick a 10 mark to 20 mark. I think Sam will be around this range where I've got him at pick 14. Again, versatility does help, and that's why I've got him at pick 14. At pick 15 in my rankings, I've got Neil Erasmus, who is from WA rather. He can play a bit of mid forward as well. A taller mid, and taller mids are a rarity these days. So a club will be happy to get Neil Erasmus, the tall midfielder. You could go a bit earlier than 15, could go around 8, around pick 8. I've got him around 15, but his will be depending on the clubs that want that type of player. Well, they want to get a WA guy, whether the Eagles might look at him at pick 10 if Jai Miss is gone. Freo, whether they look at him at pick 6 or 8. 6 might be a stretch, of pick 8 they might, so we'll have to wait and see there. Pick 16, I got Tyler Sonsi, mid forward. He's been hanging around this mark for me, but yeah, we'll have to wait and actually see if he goes around this range. I think he'll go around the mark. He might slide around the early 20s, but we'll have to wait and see there. Josh Goda, bit cylinder Tyler Sonsi, Victorian as well. Another Josh in the draft. That's not the only Josh I'm going to go through in a second. Josh Goda, yeah, you play variety of positions. Again, he like Tyler Sonsi, he could drop around the early 20s, but I've got him at pick 17. 18, Arlo Draper. I think last year he was touted as a pick 1 potential, and I'm pretty sure he did his knee and had some injury concerns or long-term injury concerns, which has dropped him out of the top 10 conversation. I mean, he could slide up to around the 14 range. I got Arlo Draper, a midfielder, at pick 18. Josh Sin, a halfback. The other Josh is in the top 23 for me, 5 in the top 23. Josh is a halfback, rebounding half defender. Got a good kick. I'm pretty sure he's a left footer as well. So, he could be around that pick 19 range. May go as early as around 14, depending on the clubs that want a halfback. You know, Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane around the pick 16, 17, 18 range. So they'll be looking at some halfbacks, those 3 clubs, Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. So, Josh Sin, rather, could be around that pick 19 range. Darcy Wilmot, another halfback, got a good kick on him as well. I'm pretty sure he's a left footer as well. I've got him in my draft rankings at pick 20. Pick 21, Campbell Cheeser, mid forward. A bit of versatility, and he's got a bit of height in him as well. As I said, tall players are a rarity these days, so he could be someone around pick 21. May go as early as around pick 15-ish. We'll have to wait to see there. The young ruckman in Toby Conway, I got it rank in my rankings at pick 22, slid down 1. No fault of his own. I mean, ruckman don't really tend to go too early. There's maybe a few exceptions, but he may go early, late first round, early second round. Probably the clearest out of the ruck division with Mac Andrew. So, yeah, I see Toby Conway hanging around pick 22, but that's where I rank him. At 23, finally at pick 23, Nasiah Wangani Malira. Now, some people will be saying, oh, Cooper, he's been touted as a potential top 10, could be around Essendon's pick, around the 14 range. He very well could. I mean, could be an argument to say maybe he could be ahead of Tola Sonsi, Josh Gota, and Arlo Draper, and Josh Sin, and Wilmot, and Cheester, and Conway. But it's a raffle, kind of, to be honest, from pick 14 from Sam Butler down. But yeah, it depends on the club's needs. But this is my rankings. Just remember that. So we'll have to wait and see there. Now, guys, let me know your thoughts. My draft rankings. I'm sure there's some keen observers asking me, Coop, when's your fandom draft? More than likely will be next week or the week before, week of the draft. But don't you worry, I will be getting into that phantom draft very, very soon. Now we will move on to my 2022 best 22s for all 5 clubs today. We're going to go through Geelong, Essendon, Sydney, Fremantle, and the West Coast Eagles. So let's start off with, we'll start with the Geelong Football Club. So this is my 2022 best 22 for the Geelong Football Club. From the back line, Jed Hughes in the pockets. This is Jed Hughes and Jake Kolodashny. Fullback, Mark Blixarves. The halfback flankers, Zach Tui and Jack Henry. The centre halfback, the All-Australian Tom Stewart. The wingers, Isaac Smith and Brandon Parfitt. Centreman, Cam Guthrie. The half-forward line first, Reece Stanley and Sam Menengola. Centre half-forward, Jeremy Cameron. Forward pockets, a new addition, Tyson Stengel and Brian Myers. Full forward is the Tomahawk, Tom Hawkins. The ruckman, the new recruit, John Segler. Ruck Rover and Rover, Paddy Dangerfield and Mitch Duncan. Interchange consists of Gary Rowan, Sean Higgins, Quinton Narkle and Joel Selwood. And the emergencies are Brad Close, Luke Dalhouse, Mark O'Connor, Asava Radagalia, and Tom Atkins. Cats fans, let me know your thoughts down below. My 2022, best 22 for the Geelong Football Club. And fans of all clubs, you don't have to be a fan of Geelong to comment on my thoughts of the 22. Well, your thoughts of my 22 for 2022 for Geelong. People could say, bit top heavy up back, and I understand that with Kolodashny and Blixarves and Stewart and Henry even, but they had a little bit of versatility in them. So that's why I got them there. Parfitt and Smith need to be on the wings. I got Reece Stanley at the half-forward line. I mean, people could down go, oh, why is he not the ruck or why is he in the team? Well, John Sickler is going to play the ruck because Stanley can play forward. So Stanley's the forward, Sickler's the main ruck. They can float between the two. Sickler is more known for his ruck work than he's playing forward. So that's why I've got Stanley in the forward line, Sickler as the ruckman, both good enough to be in the 22. So that's how I have formatted it, and Stanley's effectively taking Radagalia's spot, who should not be in there. Scotty loves him, but I think he shouldn't be in there. And people go, oh, Cooper, you got Narkle in the team, that's good. Rowan on the bench. No Brett Close or O'Connor, or Dalhouse, or Atkins, or Radagalia. Well, not good enough. Scotty has his favourites with Radagalia and Dalhouse. They shouldn't be in the side. Tom Atkins, no best 22 player at all, so he shouldn't be there either. O'Connor, you could say, is a little bit stiff. Could take Joel Selwood's spot, but gee, God forbid if I leave him out again, people will go crack the sads over an opinion. And Brad Close, we would say, could be in there. Well, you already got Stengel and Myers and Rowan. I know Rowan's a bit taller, but they're the forwards taking his spot. And I wanted to fit Narkle in the team. Now we'll move on from Geelong to the Essendon Football Club. So my 2022 best 22 for the Bombers. From the back pocket, the new recruit, Jake Kelly and James Stewart. Full back, Michael Hurley. We'll get to that later. Half back line, Nick Hind and Jordan Ridley. Centre half back, Jaden Laverde. The wingers, Dylan Shield and Tom Cutler. The centreman, Andrew McGrath. Half forward line, Will Snelling and Cole Langford. Centre half forward, Jake Stringer. Forward pockets, Anthony McDonald, Tip and Woody, and Archie Perkins. Full forward, 2 metre Peter Wright. Ruckman, Andrew Phillips. The Rovers and Ruck Rover, Zach Merritt and Darcy Parish. Interchange consists of Dyson Heppel, Jai Caldwell, Nick Cox, Mason Redmond. Emergencies, Devon Smith, Aaron Francis, Matt Wolfie, Sam Draper, and Alec Waterman. Bombers fans of other clubs, let me know your thoughts on my 2022 best 22. Try saying that 1,000 times fast, or even 3 times fast. Let me know your thoughts, Bomber fans and fans of other clubs, of my 2022 best 22 for the Bombers. Now, people could say bit top heavy, Coop with Kelly, Stewart, Laverde, Ridley, and Hurley. Well, Hurley's there purely because if he's fit and available, which is still a question mark. He's in the team. I did think about pushing Stewart or Hurley in the forward line, or even Laverde, who have played there in the past, but they could do that in-game. That's what I've got structure-wise. Langford's kind of playing as the third tall up forward with Stringer is the second tall option, depending on the matchups of the teams. I got Will Snelling in a half forward. People might go, oh, why is he in the 22, let alone the starting 18? Well, I think he's good enough to be in their starting team for sure, and even on the ground. So that's what I think. Tommy Carla, people go, Cooper, he's a fringe player. Well, they seem to like him. They gave him a new contract extension before the trade period. So Tommy Cutler, the former line, will stay. And as a wing spot, he's got a good kick on him. He's a solid runner as well. And Ridley Hinder at halfback. So therefore, I pushed him on the wing. People say, oh, Cooper, you put Stringer in this year. Yeah, I did. He's improved this year, believe it or not. Okay, and the big debatable one. People go, Cooper, how can you have Andrew Phillips over Sam Draper? Or two more things. Andrew Phillips over Sam Draper. Well, I don't rate Sam Draper as much as many other people do, and I rate Andrew Phillips. And people can say, oh, Cooper, you're kidding yourself. Phillips is a VFL player. Draper's their young star future ruck. Yeah, future, you heard. Doesn't mean right now. Andrew Phillips is more than serviceable. People highly overrate Sam Draper. And Andrew Phillips, I thought, was a pretty solid option. You can't have both in the 22 because both can't play forward. So I've given Phillips a nod over Draper. Not saying that will happen, but it's my thoughts. You want to trash talk my thoughts? How about you build your own 22 before you go, this guy shouldn't be here, this guy shouldn't be there. Make your own team. Mason Redmond on the bench. People say, oh, he's in the back six. Well, it could be he's rotating as the 7th defender. People say Devon Smith. Well, some Bomber fans have been asking for him to be dropped, and finally they can take him out of the side with a fit Heppel and Caldwell. And they can take him out. So Bomber fans of other clubs, let me know your thoughts on my best 22 for 2022 for Essendon. Now, let's move on to the Swans. My 2022, best 22 for the Swans. Again, people might say it's top heavy backline here, but we'll go from the pockets. Jake Lloyd and Tom McCartan, fullback. Dane Rampy, the half back line. Braden Campbell and Colin O'Riordan. Centre half backman, Lewis Malikan. Wingers, Harry Cunningham and James Rowbottom. Ollie Florent is the centreman. Half forward line, I like to build up a strong forward after the Swannies here. Isaac Heaney and Luke Parker as the flanks, Buddy. Lance Franklin as the centre forward. Forward pockets, Tommy Papley and Will Hayward. And the full forward, the young gun, Logan McDonald. People might debate about that. We'll get to that in a second. The ruckman, Tom Hickey, Ruck Rover and Rover, Josh Kennedy and Callum Mills. Interchange, Peter Laddams, Hayden McLean, Errol Goulden and Chad Warner. Emergency, Sam Reid, Robbie Fox, Justin McInerney, Ben Ronke, Nick Blakey, Callum Sinclair, Sam Naismith. A lot of rucks, a lot of tools in this side and in the emergency list. The Swans got a lot of tools on their list. First off, we'll talk about all these tall options first. People go, Cooper, Rampy, McCartan and Malikan, maybe he's a bit too top heavy. And O'Riordan, kind of a third tall as well. Yeah, maybe, but I wanted to fit them in. I wanted to fit Robbie Fox and Sam Reid in that side as well. But I couldn't fit them in. It would have been way, way too tall and top heavy. Lloyd, he's ever reliable, he always stays there. I went for a younger mix of midfielders and wingers. I know Cunningham's a bit older, but he's got some experience on his hands. He's got some speed and can run. Ollie Florent went the centreman. You can float him on the wing as well. Rowbottom likewise, so I got him on the wing. And you got Kennedy and Mills in the midfield. The Kennedy, the experienced man. Mills, a young gun as well. And then, Florent and Rowbottom floating there as well. I went top heavy in the forward line. This is where I went. I love this. I wanted to fit Heaney and Parker as the forwards. With Buddy and Papley and Hayward and McDonald. That is an exciting forward line to have. And if you're missing any of those guys, you can replace them with Peter Laddams and Hayden McLean. I got on the bench from former power player Peter Laddams. Oh, come on, Cooper. They got a first round pick for him essentially. Traded for him. So a first round pick. So he's got to be in the 22. Well, he could. It expensive Logan McDonald, but I want to give Logan McDonald a go. As I said last year, he was the best draftee in my eyes in the overall draft, ahead of Raul and the other guys he was in the draft with. I like Logan McDonald a lot. I think he'll be a good player for the future for the Swans. I want to hope they retain the WA young gun. Hayden McLean, I wanted to fit in the side as well, but when you got Buddy, McLean, and then you got Heaney, they're playing as a third tall. Hayward's not
small. So, you know, I've got to fit them in the ground. I wanted to fit them on the ground, Laddams or McLean especially. So, went to Errol Goulden and Chad Warner as the other bench players, so I can't have too many tools. Sam Reid and Robbie Fox, I really wanted to fit them in. Justin McInerney wanted to fit in as well, but I couldn't. Too many top-heavy players with Reid and Fox can't have another tools in there. McInerney, I suppose you could think about Chad Warner or Rowbottom, but that's what I've gone with there. Swans fans and fans of other clubs, let me know your thoughts on my 2022 best 22 for the Sydney Football Club. Now we'll move on to the Fremantle Football Club. My 2022 best 22 for the Freo Football Club. Might be say top heavy here again, but we'll go through it now. From the back line, the back pockets, Joel Hamling and Nathan Wilson. The fullback, Alex Pearce. Half back line, Luke Ryan and Hayden Young. Centre half back, Griffin Logue. The wingers, Blake Acres and James Aish. David Mundy, the centreman, the young gun Dave Mundy is. Yes, I know he's old, over 34. I know. It's a joke. Half forward line, I wanted to put Nat Fife and Michael Walters. We'll get to that shortly. Centre half forward, Matty Taberner, Lockie Schultz and Bailey Banfield are in the forward pockets. Full forward, Rory Lobb. The ruckman, the best young gun ruck in the competition, Sean Darcy, Ruck Rover and Rover, the two young gun mids, Andy Brayshaw and Caleb Sarong. Interchange, Sam Sutskowski, Mitch Croden, Ethan Hughes and Connor Blakely. Emergencies, Will Brodie from the Suns, Darcy Tucker, Taylor Duman, Sam Sturt, Liam Henry, Lloyd Meek and Heath Chapman. Now, I think people say, Coop, you're going a bit top over here as well, and all the other teams you've gone so far, and maybe with the West Coast when I get to them. Hamling, Pearce, Griffin Logue, all tall options. Hayden Young's not small, Nathan Wilson's not small, Luke Ryan's not the smallest, but Luke Ryan and Wilson have got the speed. Hayden Young's got the explosive kicking and can run as well. Not as much as Wilson and Ryan, but still got some speed. Aish and Akers, pick out Coop. You got Akers on the wing. He was playing in and out this year. In the pre-season, before he done his hamstring, he was getting 35 possessions in the pre-season games. Was recruited to be in their 22. Had some injury form slump as well late in the year. They were stuck with Brayshaw, but Chera's now going to Carlton, obviously, so he could fit back into that side, essentially, for Chera. Now, I wanted to fit Fife and Walters in the forward line. We could have a mixture of Fife, Walters, Mundy. Is that two of them, three being the forwards and one being the mid. You can float and mix them up. Look how strong it looks having Fife and Walters with Taberner, Lobb, Schultz, and Bailey Banfield. And then the interchanges mixture of Switkowski, Crowden, Hughes, and Blakely. You can fit Will Brodie, but then it'll probably be a bit too top heavy. Crowden can play a little bit of forward. Switkowski can play as a small forward a bit. Ethan Hughes can play off half back. Blakey can play off half back off the wing as well. Bit of flexibility, and then where Brodie's more limited to as a midfielder. Darcy Tucker, I thought of. Taylor Duman, I really did think of, but again, that'd be another tall backman. And Sam Sturt, I thought of as well, who started his footy career off to a great start, then got injured, had a bit of form slump, then been injured again. So, wait and see. But Sam Sturt is a possibility to fit in there 22. Now, we move on to the final 2022, best 22. I'm going to go through now the Eagles, the West Coast Eagles. From the back line, the back pockets, Josh Rotham and Brad Shepherd. Full back line is Jeremy McGovern. Half back line is Shannon Hearn and Liam Duggan. Centre half back, the beast, Tom Barras. The wingers, Andrew Gaff and Jack Redden. The centreman, Elliot Yo. Half forward line consists of Jack Darling and Jamie Cripps. Centre half forward, Oscar Allen. Forward pockets, Liam Ryan and Jack Petruccelli. Full forward is the ever-reliable veteran, Josh Kennedy. The ruckman, Nick Nat-Nui. The rover and ruck rover, Luke Shuey and Tim Kelly. The interchange consists of Alex Witherden, Willie Rioli, Jackson Nelson, and Tom Cole. Emergencies, Bailey Williams, Xavier O'Neill, Harry Edwards, Zach Langdon, Jake Waterman, and the recruit from Carlton, who he will not be in their 22, and not even close, Sam Petreski-Seaton. Look, you might say top-heavy backline again with Shepherd, half-back. Rotham, more of a third defender. McGovern and Barras, two beasts. Shannon Earn's a beast. Liam Duggan's a pretty solid player who can play through the midfield as well. Cooper, they've got to fit them in. They're all 22s. Rotham, you could say, oh, no, he's not, but he is. Redden, Gaff, pretty self-explanatory. That four line back forward, 60s explanatory. Willie Rioli going off the bench as a 7 forward. If people could debate, probably maybe Nelson and Cole, but not really much options. I know that probably puts a bit too much midfielders there, but Duncan can play in the midfield, so they can then push Willard in the half back. Nelson and Cole probably can't play this, and maybe you go with Xavier O'Neill, which is what I thought of, but then again, your 2 top heavy inside mids. So, and then you got a Petruski Seaton type, but they're not deserving a ban. That's not Bailey Williams, another toy, can't have him in. So I've gone pretty much an extra defender over Petruski Seaton because he shouldn't be anywhere near that team. And Jake Waterman's another forward option. Eagles fans of all clubs, let me know your thoughts on all these 5 2022 best 22s that I've gone through today. West Coast, Freo, Sydney, Geelong, and Essendon. Leave your thoughts down below. Now, there will be some other teams I go through next week. I think I done 5 this week, 5 last week, so that's 10. I think I did 4 or so before that. So whoever's left over, I think it's about 3 or 4, they'll be all done on next week's show. So look forward to that.
Now, next week's show, at this stage, the time is yet to be confirmed. More than likely will be a Monday night yet again, as you're seeing tonight. But I don't want to lock in their time or anything yet because I've got to find out the work schedule for myself and the producers next week. But yeah, we'll let you guys know when we know. Yeah. So you got any other questions for me, guys? If you always want an audio message, email me at aflinfolive@gmail.com. It's the best way to get your questions answered on the show. So drop us an email at aflinfolive@gmail.com. And while you're watching, if you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's free. For free. Like I say in my intro, it's for free. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. Leave a like. Share the video. It helps out the channel immensely. So we'd really appreciate if we could have a thumbs up in the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I want to aim for 30 likes at least in this video. It'll help out the channel immensely. We really do appreciate that. We'll move on to my final thoughts this. Before I get into the big topic of my final thoughts, I want to mention too, any guests you want on the show, hit them up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Give me some suggestions in the comment section or give me a Facebook message. If you know anyone in the media, if you know anyone at the AFL clubs, they're interested in coming on the show or you want on the show, send them a message. Let them know about me to send me a message or whatever, and we'll try and sort things out. I've got a few guests lined up, but again, still no real major updates other than saying the time frame is still yet to be determined. I'm really hoping I can be on within the next month, but we'll have to wait and see soon. But don't you worry, guys. I'm going long, hard at work at getting some people on. Been talking to about 4 people. Whether they happen or not, we don't know yet, but trying to work things out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, things go well. So now my final thoughts are this. Now, again, we talked about WWE earlier. We talked about football as we always do. Now we move to the cricket ranks, and my final thoughts are this. My good old mate, the universe boss, Christopher Henry Gale. Chris Gale has retired, or seemed to have retired from international cricket for the rest. But international. When he got out, people were going, oh no, he's retiring. At the end of the game, he signed the camera like cricketers do, like Dwayne Bravo, who calls himself the champion. He done the exact same thing. But Chris Gale, now I had this quote come out yesterday. Chris Gale says this: give me one game in Jamaica to go in front of my home ground. Then I can say, hey guys, thank you so much. Let's see. Now, Chris Gale has retired in the past when he actually hasn't, or said he's retiring and then he comes back. But no, this is the end for Christopher Henry Gale, more than likely. So in tribute to my good old mate, the universe boss, Chris Gale, see this last dismissal. He had a bowl in the last game against Australia in the West Indies, in the World Cup tournament in the UAE. And Chris Henry Gale is known for his entertainment with the bat and his lovable, bubbly character. But let's see his last ever bowl in international cricket, bowling to Australia's Mitchell Marsh.
And out, smashed it straight to mid-off. Gale has a wicket. What a way to sign off. The universe boss comes to hug the man who gave it to him. Mitch Marsh, he's hit that hard to the tallest man on the ground, and everyone is so happy. Even Mitch Marsh, who disappointed to get out.
Guys, what did you think of that? See, the universe boss, he's an absolute champion. Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss, will be missed in international cricket. Hopefully, he'll still play IPL, and all the Caribbean League, and all the other leagues he plays in the T20 formats. Christopher Henry Gale, you are the universe boss for a reason, mate. You are a champion. Dwayne Bravo may call himself a champion, but Chris Henry Gale, you are the universe boss. You are a champion. So congratulations, Chris, on your career. The most entertaining cricket player in the world by far. No one is even close. Glenn Maxwell is pretty entertaining as well, but he may be the current one. Glenn Maxwell, the big show. But Christopher Henry Gale, for a long time, has been the entertainer. He is the king, the universe boss, Chris Gale. Congratulations, Chris, on your career, international career at least, and hopefully see many more entertaining knocks from the universe boss. Maybe with the ball as well, like you've seen him there, dismissing Mitch Marsh and Jason Holder, getting a great catch off bowling a Chris Gale.
Friday, guys, we also had some delisted fantasy moves on Friday. 2 moves, rather. First, former dog is now a Saint, Tom Campbell, some ruck depth. For people to keep carrying on saying, oh, Tom's not a good option, why would you get him? It's called depth. He's a bloody good depth option is Tom Campbell. So wish him all the best at the Saints. And Tyson Stengel, the former Crow and Tiger, has joined the Geelong Football Club on a 2-year deal. Tom Campbell's deal was a 1-year deal. Tyson Stengel playing sample this year in the SANFL Football League. And he is now a cat.
Chris Gale. Guys, appreciate you all. Until next week, everyone, have a great one. And the most important thing to remember is go to the Saints. And, of course, if you see my top, you acknowledge me top, you should do it too. And if you don't, well, you should. So appreciate you all. Till next week, everyone, have a great one. The most important thing to remember is, yes, I'm repeating myself because I should. Go to the Saints and, of course, acknowledge me.